Okay, so I'm sure you're wondering why it is important to learn at least a little bit of basic music theory. This is my own opinion about it because I am not like a theory whiz. I don't know everything that there is to know about music theory, but for me, it's more of like a reference. It's something that I can always go back to if I need it, but full disclosure, I do not write using music theory all the time. It's not like I just sit down and just write out like, okay, I want this chord progression to be like this, and I'm gonna use this chord and this chord, this chord. Most of the time, it's actually the complete opposite for me. I write from a feel standpoint, so it's all very much instinctual. However, once upon a time, I programmed my mind to have all this information in it so that I can react in a musical situation in a spontaneous way. So that's what I want for you guys as well. Is I want you to be able to react and respond accordingly with whatever information you need to pull out of your brain at that point in time, if that makes sense. So, why is knowing a bit of music theory important? In a word, inspiration. And that might seem a little strange, as I was just saying that I don't normally use music theory for inspiration, but if I am stuck in a rut, if I'm stuck in a writing rut, or I just like am stuck in a fishbowl as far as like I'm writing the exact same way and I want to change my perspective, I can always do that and reference like something else. Like, well, for example, I'm using like, 1-6-4-5 progression, and I've been using that for everything. I can take a look at all the chords in a given key and just change the order of the chords I'm using, or just use completely different chords in the same key. I can do that if I know what I'm talking about theoretically. So like I said, in a word, inspiration. It's one of the many great ways to eliminate writer's block, in my opinion, is just to kind of go back and just reference it, or just to kind of like take a break from the thing that you're working on and trying to work on something else, You could be like, well, this riff doesn't seem to be going anywhere, so maybe I'll just try to, start writing another song, even if it's going to be a bad song. Start writing a bad song in another key, and that other part of your brain is still working behind the scenes. It's still trying to solve that initial problem. So maybe when you get back to it later, all of a sudden things might click. You never know. I've definitely experienced all of that. So what I feel is fundamental to understand about music theory is that learning it will help you demystify all of this. You will no longer be scared of your fretboard. You'll no longer be scared of whatever instrument that it is that you're playing music on. Because you know how to read the map. It's kind of like this. An analogy I throw at my students all the time is like, imagine your parents dropped you off in an unfamiliar part of town and you don't know how to read a map. You don't know how to read street signs. How comfortable would you be? You wouldn't be very comfortable at all walking down the street. You'd probably be really nervous and really stiff. It's a lot like that when you're playing guitar too, and you don't know how to play a scale, or you don't know the notes on your fretboard. It's like, you don't know where to go because nothing's familiar. So learning this language helps to kind of get you familiar with the terrain, if you want to think of it like that. You get to know the territory. You get to know like your whole steps and half steps and your sharps and flats and all that sort of stuff. So basically, the main benefit that I see from learning music theory, like off the top of my head, is demystifying music in a practical sense. Getting rid of any preoccupation with like the unknown. If you know where to go, you're gonna be able to play it or sing it with much greater ease. I truly believe that there are endless possibilities once you understand even just the basics of music theory. So let's start by going over some key terms that is necessary to speak the language of music. Yeah.